Hello and a warm welcome to Sebring International Raceway. As you can see, puffy clouds in the distance and a beautiful day at this iconic American circuit. Home, of course, to the 12 hours of Sebring, which will be coming up later in about 4 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time from now. But we are here for the Sebring SpeedTour, which, of course, is Trans Am and SVRA. As you can see, American flags are flying, the odd British flag as well, and well it should, because we have a mix in what Trans Am started as with SVRA of great sports cars from all over the world. And we welcome you to our 2022 season. Over this season, we'll be circumnavigating the USA, going to literally all the iconic circuits, including here at Sebring. But it's somewhat fitting that we do start here, because back in 1966, a great year I may add, it all started here for Trans Am. And in terms of SVRA, that is literally an open book, a moving book, if you will, of the history of sports car racing in this country. Once again, the fans are out. It's been a tough 2 years, we all know that. We don't need to dwell on it. But now we're back out in the sunshine of Florida and enjoying it. A nice breeze here, although we're already in the mid-80s here at the start of today, but I think that breeze will help a lot of respite to those watching and obviously those in the cockpits as well, because it gets hot out there, very hot indeed. As for Sebring itself, as I mentioned, it's an iconic circuit, a former World War II airfield at 3.6 miles with some fantastic corners, long straights, including that last Ullman straight, and then into the famous bumpy but ever iconic Sunset Bend. And we had some race victories here in Trans Am last year at that very last corner. Well, my cohort and top man down on the grid as well as in the commentary booth, of course, is Ben Sissel once again, and I believe he's down there already. So he's not laying back and taking in the sunshine, he's out there working. Ben Sissel, what have you got?
All right, welcome to the Sebring SpeedTour. I am so excited to be here. We've got a record car show right over there, a record number of spectators, and as you can see, a record number of sponsors and marketing partners. But stay with me, because Tony, we've got Mission Foods, a new sponsor with us, the owner of Mission Foods, Juan Gonzalez, right there in the red 81. But we're gonna go over here. We're gonna find Mr. Fangler, Ken Fangler, the owner, president of International GT. We've been talking about a lot of records being broken. Ken, you've sold out another broken record for International GT here at Sebring International Raceway. How does it feel?
Fantastic. We're elated to have the support of, not only the customers and our marketing partners and all that, but the enthusiasm for the series has been off the chart. And, we've kind of gone by our original plan of what we expected, and we've blown by that, and to the point where we're starting to have to put people on a wait list to come in. And we had 60 cars registered originally on this deal. We got more than 50 on the grid today, and it's just a fantastic weekend of racing put on at this Speed Tour event.
Nice. So you talk about enthusiasm. Great way to describe this. We had your banquet, your party last night, the enthusiasm of all your drivers. But quickly, for those that are just joining us, explain International GT and the groups that you run and who races with you.
Well, as I said, we don't have a rule book. We just have some guidelines, and we have a theory. The theory is that we have fun, safe racing, and we'll let it figure itself out. But the three categories we have: the Stuttgart Cup is for the German manufacturers. In that are the Caymans, Porsche Caymans. We occasionally have Mercedes-Benz, and this particular race we also have Audis in there, and the Stuttgart Cup. Mission Foods GT3 Cup Trophy, our largest group of 911 based cars, 3.6, 3.8, 4-liter 4R cars, all the 911 based cars, and then finally the Italian brands, the Maranello Cup, Lamborghini, and here represented is a good group of Ferraris. So those are our three groups.
That's amazing. Every one of these cars could have been on my wall as a child. Ken, so proud of you. International GT is so much fun. Jonathan, we're about 3 minutes on the grid. I'm going to send it to my buddy Jonathan Green up in the booth.
Thank you, Big B, and Ben Sissel will be with me here in the commentary booth and bebopping around the paddock and pit lane throughout the season, as he always does. He is an absolute treasure for us because his knowledge of both the drivers and racers in both SVRA and Trans Am is unique. And in fact, he even puts up all the flags. He's been here almost a week, so those flags flying high at the moment. So just to give you an idea, that IGT race, and as Ben was pointing out, as we look at the Mission Foods Juan Gonzalez, he got 5th place here last time out, man from Dallas, Texas, and we're delighted to have him on board. It's not often that you get sponsors that actually take part in the race, is it? Well, it's quite unique in this paddock. We've got the likes of Juan Gonzalez, who is, as I said, a major sponsor throughout the weekend. You'll see his logo there, here, there, and everywhere. We've also got people like Jim Farley, who, of course, is the head of Ford. He'll be racing a Lola later today in SVRA. But what I love about this particular series is the fact that it is just what they describe. Mostly Porsches, but really, these are the cars that generally gentleman drivers, but some also either semi-professional or professional drivers come to the series. There's one of the few Audis we've got. That's a 2000 Audi from Plantation, Florida. That's Lopez Santini. He got a 7th here last year in this very race, which was won, by the way, by Andy Pilgrim. He, too, is in this massive field of over 55 cars. And a real challenge. And I was just looking at the field through and through. We've got a lot of drivers here who have either taken part in the 12 hours or have done the Ferrari Challenge or have done, of course, this sort of racing as well. But we've really got some big names, both past and present, and some you may never have heard of, especially in Trans Am. And so we'll be introducing you this weekend to some drivers that you should remember. Yes, you may know the Wally Donnenbachs and the Tommy Kendalls and all those names of the past, but we're going to introduce you some 16, 17, and in some cases 15-year-olds as they make their way to try and make fame and fortune. Beautifully put together, these cars. There's a lovely Ferrari. I'm not quite sure what number it is, but we'll take a look at him. And not as many Ferraris as there are Porsches, but we've got a 458 Ferrari 2014 from Naples in Florida, John Patrick driving that. And this is Patrick Mullaney in the 458 Challenge, number 36, so we'll watch out for him too. And as you see, V-Box Motorsport giving us all the info that anybody in the audience watching on our live stream can effectively look at. And I think for those sort of armchair drivers or sim drivers sitting at home watching the real thing, you may well have done a few laps around Sebring yourself, maybe had a go at the 12 hours, but to see it for real and see where the breaking points are and see how these drivers, who are some of the best in the world, go about taking on this iconic circuit, keep an eye on that V-Box, because that gives you a lot of information as to when they break, where they are, the G-forces involved, and how they go about this big challenge that is Sebring. Sebring itself, right in the heart of Florida, about an hour and a half south of Tampa Bay, and pretty equidistant between the two coasts. And of course, we've got IndyCar racing on the west coast this weekend. So it's a busy weekend for Florida, as the single-seaters are in action at St. Petersburg, and we're in action here at Sebring. There's another beautifully prepared Ferrari in the more well-known colours, red and white. Big spoiler on the back. And I wonder how strong that wind's going to get as the day goes on. We're not expecting any rain, but that said, in Florida can mean anything, because it can soon change here in Florida. But these guys usually put on a good show. They are very proficient at their racing. They know what they're doing. They've been here several times before. I was just looking at the results from last year, and I mentioned Andy Pilgrim. Well, Andy Pilgrim did win this race last year, and in fact he was followed home by Tom Pank, who's also in this field, as is Lucas Pank, his son, Benoit Bergeron. That's the only man I haven't seen that was here last year. He was on the podium, followed by Mark Greenberg and Juan Gonzalez, who you've already seen in this car here. Oh, that's good timing. There is Juan Gonzalez, who was fit here last year. Jason McCarthy was in the top 10, and Andor Novak's was 9th position. last year, so he too will be looking for another good result. 55 cars in all as they dive under the bridge. Let's tell you about the circuit. We're going on the infield now, down towards the hotel and effectively the hairpin. And very, very tight indeed, and there's a good overtaking opportunity into this corner here, which we call turn 7. Quick wave, there's the hotel just outside the circuit there. Great place to stay if you're a driver, makes things easier. But a lot of work and interest going into that corner there. Then it opens up through 8 and 9 through Fangio. And this is what we call the Fangio straight. It's slightly kinked, but pretty much flat out. Got to be careful of those rumble strips on either side. Not a lot of places to overtake there. Possibility of breaking into 10, which is coming up now. And it's a combination. There's about 5 different types of asphalt here, which is another reason why Sebring is such a challenge to the drivers and the engineers setting up. There's 10. And then we go through the dip of Collier, 11. And then, again, it's pretty much single file through here. And then into 12 and 13, possible overtake into 13, which is a complete 90-degree right-hander at Tower. Here is that right-hander. But as you can see, not a lot of room to overtake. Maybe there's some room on the outside if you take a lunge. But better to save your overtaking to a little bit later. And then we edge up next to the airport. There's still an airport here. I mentioned the fact that it was an old World War II airport. Well, just to the left of your shot there, the current airport is still active. You can just see the runways in the background. In fact, you can see a plane just there in the background as they go through Bishop, which is turn 14, and then head down to the last 2 corners before the main long straight, and that's 15 and 16, known as Le Mans. And then we go down the Ullman Straight. We'll talk more about some of the names of these corners as to why they were named after certain drivers and certain parts of the circuit. But this is the famous Ullman Straight, and this is where it all sorts out, especially in the closing stages of a race, because it's a long straight, almost a kilometre long, diving into the final corner, Sunset Bend. And it's certainly not a sunset look, because it can be a rude awakening, never mind a sunset, because that's the last corner. Everybody's hurtling into there at great speed and then trying to hang on the brakes into here, which is 17, Sunset Bend, but it's very wide. They come under a bridge and there is room to go both on the inside and the outside, and if you get good drive, we've seen it happen before. Last year, Chris Dyson did it. I can see the green flag waving on the main straight. We go on board, and that's a very quick move from those chasing down the front row men. And away they go, and what a start. Look at a beautiful sight that is here at Sebring. 55 beautiful international GT cars flailing out over this circuit and heading down towards turn 2 and 3 for the first time.
Yeah, that's Stephen Hammond up there in the first shot there as they come around turn 3, Mission Foods turn 3 here at Sebring International Raceway. Look at the bunch. I love seeing these huge groups of cars. And according to my scoring, that's the number 72 of Stephen Hammond. He had a really good showing with us at Daytona just a few months ago and is having a great start here in the 2022 season, followed by Tom Pank, followed by Bob Neapol. Look at them coming into what we call the hairpin, turn 7 here at Sebring.
Yeah, as you can see, a little bit of leeway, but not too much. And look how it funnels down there. Everybody trying to get position. Now we open up down the Fangio circuit, and for many of these guys, they're going to be chomping at the bit. This is the first race of the 2022 season, and I don't need to tell you what has happened in the last 2 years. It's been in and out. We have been racing, I may add. We got a full season in last year, but of course it's been tough times with COVID. So everybody delighted to be back here and racing, and I think that's why we've got such a bumper field. New names, but some of the old familiar faces, and you've just mentioned some of them. Bob Neapol, Tom Pank, and Stephen Hammond in that number 72 leading the way.
Stephen Hammond, I believe he just graduated from chiropractor college is what I heard at Daytona. He's in a 4-liter. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Stephen Hammond. But then Bob Neapol came up, take second place from Tom Pank in third. And I believe Pedro Torres is in 4th. But man, I am so excited to see the Sebring SpeedTour start racing with International GT. They had to cut it off at 51 cars as we go on board with the TLM car of Stephen Hammond.
You know, I mentioned it's primarily what I would call gentleman drivers, but the level of drivers in this field, especially the cars they're driving, these are no slow
right
coach
there.
cars. You
Juan
can see any of
Gonzalez.
these for 12 hours.
Juan Gonzalez, Mission Foods, followed by Todd Sloan around the really bumpy 17. I did see a flag there at 16 off in the distance as Neopol ducks into the inside. He's got the inside corner, but Hammond closes the door on him. Now can Hammond hold on to it as Pank wants to close in as they come into Mission Foods turn 3.
Yep. Into the Hammond comes in, and yeah, good defensive driving, and he shut the door well. Coming under the bridge in a moment. Not a lot of room to overtake here, but now he's going to have to defend as he comes under here and down towards the hairpin. That's the next place for an overtake, but they're spreading out quite dramatically now, this huge field. Coming down what I would call the Franklin Road, although it's called Big Bend in reality, but you can see the Franklin Road logos out there, and into 7, everything tightening up side by side with the 0-8 there.
Reg Williams back with us with International GT, showing us you can go side by side into that Franklin Road turn 7.
So already things starting to settle down. A good, clean start for everybody involved, and that's the quality of field.
Ducking inside at turn 10. Who's that? Took the line out break into turn 10, and Stephen Hammond, Tom Pank. Look at this. This is going to be exciting, and this is just the start of the Sebring SpeedTour, Jonathan.
Yeah, of course, IGT have got another race tomorrow as well, so they'll be wanting to keep their cars in full fettle and get some data and information. The track hasn't changed any, but you never know with weather, and of course, as you mentioned yesterday, 5 different services here, including that old airfield.
Yeah, it is bumpy. The grip level changes at each turn. You can see there some patches in the turns there at the exit of turn 3 into a little bit of a 4. It's a really shaky, and this is hot. You can tell by the heat waves there as Tom Pank ducks out. It's a hot day. I've heard from the drivers that it's slick. Look at that, Bob Neopol looking. Everybody's trying to set it up for the Big Machine Vodka Spike Cooler turn 17. Tom Pank to the inside.
Yeah, this is the corner where you make it stick, and he's done just that. Excellent overtake at the Sunset Bend.
Wow, Tom Pank, that was risky, buddy, but you did it. Stephen Hammond saw him coming up behind, and now Bob Neopol looks like he wants to take it.
Tom Pank, of course, second here last year in race 1, so looking to go one better if he can.
Reg Williams giving some time, making sure the driver can see him as we ride on board with Stephen Hammond.
And he's building on that lead already. So if Stephen Hammond is going to come back at him, he's going to hope for a safety, I would have thought.
Just got word that Ken Fangler, president, owner of International GT, is going to be joining us. Ken Fangler, I know you're probably out of breath from running from the grid, but what a great start. Look at this as they come into Franklin Road, turn 7. Stephen Hammond, he had a great showing at Daytona, and he's showing us more here.
Yeah, Stephen's a young driver, and he's come on, and he wasn't here for the Thursday test day, but showing that he doesn't really need it. You know, young guy, and he was in a BMW previously, and Dad stepped up of all things and bought him a 4-liter Porsche, I think, you know, but, you know, great to have father-sons here, and Stephen carrying the flag for the Hammond family.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where Lucas is because he's in this field, obviously, and he raced here. Andy Pilgrim, a long way down, 23rd, the winner of this race last year. Any reason for that?
Yeah, totally different car. He was in a Ferrari 458 GT3 car last year. The class of the field mechanically and class-wise. He's mentoring a young driver. They have a 2-car team, and they're in the Porsche Cayman. But I have to say, in typical Andy Pilgrim fashion, he was 3 seconds faster than any other Cayman yesterday when he clicked off a 2:11 here. Typical Andy. Our champion from last year in Mission Foods, he accepted his trophy and watch, and I kidded him because I said, I've read on your bio, at least maybe International GT could at least be a little footnote down the bottom that he won the Maranello Cup Championship with IGT.
Well, I tell you, I talked to so many other drivers, and they're just so excited to be able to call Andy Pilgrim their friend, their competitor, and it's cool for them to be able to race with somebody they've admired for so long.
Well, and all the other pros that are here. You look down the co-drivers for tomorrow. You know, Lonnie Pechnick, Mike Skeen, Butch Leisinger, Corey Friedman, you know, Pippa Mann, Chris Hall, you know.
It's a who's who of sports car racing.
Spencer Pompelli. So, you know, there's all our pros and coaches that are here. Guy Cosmo, you know, it just goes on. And I think they enjoy. I know they enjoy their time at International GT. They like working with the customers, and they like being part of the program.
Now introduce us to Mullaney here, the number 36, Patrick Mullaney. He's riding in car. That's a Maranello Cup car, right?
That's a straight-up Maranello Cup car, Ferrari 458, so it's a little older than the latest rendition, which is why it doesn't compete up front with the Porsches. But John Patrick and Chris Hall really pedaling that car and doing well. He's now finally committed. After years of just doing this event with us, he came to us and he signed up, I think, for 3 or 4 events already for this year, and he's committed to coming. It's very good to have more Ferraris in the Maranello Cup.
It's good to see Reg Williams out here and moving up in the field already, the 008 of Reg Williams. I love having him out with International GT.
Yeah, the iDoc is going well. Obviously, he's got the track in focus. He's got the right contacts in, or had the right surgery, and you know, he's doing a great job. Reg is a great competitor and a good guy to have here at International GT.
I love watching the inputs, Jonathan. You can see the wheel, you can see the brake. Look at that pass there at turn 10. Good driving there by John Patrick Mullaney.
Yeah, nice to have in-car from the Ferrari, and you know, our other in-car with Steven. So we got 2 perspectives, one up front and one from mid-pack.
But middle of the pack in International GT is sometimes the best racing of the weekend.
Sometimes it's at the back of the pack.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's and that's the nice thing. There's somebody always to race with. You know, I said yesterday, our 3.6 liter Mission Foods GT3 Cup trophy cars are towards the back, as are some of the smaller displacement Caymans. But you know what? They've always got a chance to win a championship. And last night we awarded Nick Carangelin 3.6 liter car. He was 2nd overall in Mission Foods GT3 Cup. So they accumulate points in class, and they're eligible and can win the championship.
Never give up. That's the auto racing right down there. Now, who is that? It looks like a TLM car. Is that Tuwadi?
That's Nathan Bird. I saw David is the nervous car owner is on the pit wall. I saw him coming up here. He looked like an expectant mother.
Oh, I can understand why.
Look at that. Side by side in the Mission Foods turn 3. You don't really like seeing that, do you?
No, I'm okay with it. As long as they don't touch, I think it's good racing. Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people are coming to race in International GT, because it's really hard, good, but clean racing.
Well, we hope for that. That's all I can say is we hope. It doesn't always go according to plan, but we have a pretty good track record. That's all I'll say. You know, it doesn't always exactly. You know, people make mistakes, but you know, whoa, there's one that's going the wrong way.
Spinner.
Neopol, he was in 2nd place.
2nd place, man, and that puts Hammond back up to 2nd.
Where's he going? That's a counter race. But he's going to
really,
take the old hairpin.
Yeah,
that's smart. Good job, Bob Neopol. Way to take that escape road, and he'll be joining back mid-pack, so expect him to be moving up.
Tom Pank still out front. If they're doing bragging rights for the family, Pank, a lot of work to do for Lucas. He's down in 40th position. Dad up in the front there at the moment, and Neopol loses position. Hammond now goes to 2nd, and Pedro Torres moves to 3rd.
Yeah, young Lucas Pank at this point is running the parts car, okay? They've been through car 2 and 3, and he said last night, if it doesn't go to today, I'm done for the weekend. You know, the Ultra Performance crew has really been thrashing to get him back on track, but he's out there running, and, you know, as I said, he's not as competitive as he usually is, so as I said, he's basically in the parts car.
Ken, have you got any youngsters out there who, you know, I mean, this is usually
under 60 is what you're saying?
No.
There's one.
Okay,
Yeah.
but no, guys that we wouldn't perhaps put in this field generally, because as you say, they're generally speaking in their 40s or experienced sports car drivers, but sometimes an owner will give a youngster a go.
Well, for example, Andy Pilgrim is mentoring a new driver, Anthony Bartone Racing. There you go. I mean, he's 24 years old.
That's young.
He doesn't have any racing experience. Now, I'm going to say, I'll just look through here, and I don't know everybody's age, but everybody's younger than I am anyway. So,
Lucas Pank.
Lucas.
But I want to tell this story. Geronimo Guzman came in a new R8, and new to him, so did Juan Lopez Santini, and they had a fire. So your paddock, a guy in your paddock, Tom Pank, gave him that Audi R8 to run for the weekend. That's the camaraderie. That's not an inexpensive car. And your friends just want big car counts. Your competitors, it's amazing the camaraderie that you've developed in this paddock.
Yeah, that was a big move, and we know that of Tom Pank. Tom is a gracious guy, a hard competitor, We call him our ADD poster child, okay? But he's good fun, and you know what? He's been such a good supporter of the series with his 2 sons in, and that's what he does. I mean, he'll give her parts. He's our paddock parts truck anyway for Porsche. But when he saw Geronimo's had such bad luck, Geronimo has his sponsors here, Provident Jewelers and Ernst Benz Watches and Cohigo Tequila, all here this weekend to see him race, and he got 1 lap before the car caught him.
Bit of damage there.
Yeah, something.
They shouldn't bring him in for that, would they?
I think that thing hanging off the back, Mike. Yeah. So somebody got into the back of someone there.
Looking high over turn 10.
So that looks like it's Juan Gonzalez there with that black Ferrari behind him. Who's in that flat black Ferrari?
Yeah, ran with us at Daytona. Father, son, so kind of new to us.
Juan.
Marcel, fan, okay.
One fan, yeah.
And his son is here running in the Porsche. So
good to see Todd Sloan venture out of Ohio and come race with us.
Todd's a great guy and one of our Ohio players, okay? He's been to a couple of races. His work thing keeps getting in the way, but, a guy I know, there are a couple of guys that are kind of sleepers, and if they put a run together of races, they would be very much in the running for a championship.
Now you see those different surfaces I was talking about earlier. And
Patchwork quilt is
yeah,
what it looks
I've talked
like.
to some of the 12-hour guys who are, sort of these prestigious racing drivers that get the Le Mans, and they go to all these very soft Shanghai and very COTA-like circuits, but they love coming to Sebring because of the challenge of the different surfaces.
Everybody said when they talk about paving Sebring, there's a big round of no's coming across. Don't do it.
Which is weird because the conventional thinking would be, why don't they repave it? And the mutiny that would happen because it's what makes Sebring Sebring. And look at how these GT cars are handling it.
It's mostly the lap record holders that are up in arms, right?
Yeah. Look at this.
This is great.
So much fun. Ken, I'm so proud of you and Julie for what you put together. International GT. And such a great show for the fans, spectators, and those of you watching on our Facebook and our live streams. Please leave some comments. Who are you rooting for? And maybe Juan Gonzalez will send you some mission chips.
There you go. We were talking about Geronimo Guzman.
Whoa, somebody's just spun. Sorry.
And we're talking about, you said never give up. We're going to put that on a trophy.
Yeah.
He was our Sportsman Award winner from 2021 with the Derek Bell Trophy winner. So,
yeah.
Great enthusiast competitor.
Congratulations to him. That was Todd Sloan there that spun turn 5. And look at that beautiful number 3. Some great, fantastic racing, Ken. I love this group you've developed.
So let's just quick check. We've had quite a few changes here. Tom Pack still leads. Hammond is 2nd. Torres Pedro is 3rd. Then Reg Williams 4th. Nathan Bird up to 5th now. Andor Kovacs, who was in this race last year, he's 6th. And then Mark Mathis is in 7th. Geronimo Guzman 8th. Juan Gonzalez 9th. And Juan Fayen, the man we were just talking about, in 10th position.
Looks like Tom Pank has handedly got the race now. Coming into the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers turn 7. There's our in-car, Stephen Hammond. Had a great showing with us at Daytona. And there's Reg Williams. Looks like in 4th, 277. That's Chris Lee
there in a 277.
I hope he can get that fired back up.
Let's hope he gets it fired up
That's
again.
not an opportune place to be out there.
No, but the corner worker, I'm sure, will tell him when it's clear to fire back up and go out there.
Time running out, of course, and his huge field now starting to look for quick laps and starting to look towards the end of this race, the first of 2.
Great to be back here at Sebring SpeedTour event. Look at that car show over there. Oh, look, it's a great spectator turnout.
Yeah.
Thanks to Tony Corella, SVRA, Trans Am, F4. International GT is very proud and happy to be part of this program. And certainly glad to have our new sponsors, Fixie Wheels. Brad is here, flew in from Vancouver.
Wow.
He's friend.
What do they do?
Fixie Wheels, okay,
Yep.
the round things. And
That's it. They just make wheels.
They didn't invent it. They just make the best ones on the planet.
There you go. Wow, are you their spokesman?
I could be their marketing guy, but yeah, they are. Certainly very much associated with the European brands that we run. A great forged wheel, both for racing and sport. Very happy to have Fixie Wheel. Also, we have Surface Transforms, which is HCF braking technology, ceramic braking systems. They're here with their engineering people and first time with us. And of course, my favorite at least when I'm in the air conditioning, premium luxury RV rentals.com.
Yeah, nice.
And we have a fantastic coach due to their attention to detail. And if you want a coach for a race weekend, these are the guys to talk to.
I got to give a shout out there. We saw the Cayman getting past Judith Lakazik looking in the mirror, saw Tom Pank coming, moved over. That is the kind of racing that you expect from your international GT competitors. Still keeping good time, but was looking in the mirrors too, which you have to do in this like mixed class racing.
Yeah, it's a funny story. Judith is out there running. Albert actually is not on track because he had a mechanical problem. And, I think it's sporting that his wife is going to let him drive with him at the Enduro tomorrow. So, but first race with us with International GT, husband and wife team. She says, I'll go to the track stuff I'm familiar with. So
that's another thing to explain, Ken. Just explain for those watching on our live stream. If they wanted to be involved in this, they got a lot of racing over the weekend.
Hold on, that was Tom Pank just took the last lap. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Final lap.
Yep. Tom can breathe easy now. But, yes, certainly there is. Between International GT and Tony Perella has graciously, invited our guys to kind of double up. They can run in the SVRA Group 10, so it gives them or their co-driver an opportunity to get some more track time, either in test day, practice and qualifying, or actual racing. So it's we have 2 30-minute races, today, and an hour enduro tomorrow. So it's good fun. Plenty of time and things to sort out.
Coming down to the closing stages, Tom Pank setting the fastest lap of 2:05.992, but really the gap 5.4 seconds over Hamann, and that is really impressive by Tom Pank as he weaves his way through the traffic at the top of the track now and starts to make his way towards home for the last time.
Yeah, Tom, as I said, can breathe easy now that he got into Bob Leopold's head there, the pressure, and he made a mistake. But Bob's a new guy, and coaching-wise, he's there with Lonnie and Guy Cosmo. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
He was here for. He reminded me yesterday. I met him for the first time last year, and he said, "Ken, I want to do this and come with you." He said, "I'm not going to come though until I feel comfortable and competent in the car." He spent a year with coaching with Guy Cosmo before he came out. He did his first race at Daytona with us in December, and here he is running up front very capably. But still, rookie enough to make a mistake and admit it that he's got some things to work on.
That's great. That's what I love about the enthusiasm and the attitude of your drivers. It seems to be just as much about the fun and the parties like last night as it is the racing, and that's what makes for such a great paddock.
Yeah, well, we, not only did we have our reception, we had a few laughs, a few beers. Initially, it seemed like a funeral when I got in there. I said, look, guys, don't expect something to happen. You guys are the entertainment, so, checkered flag is out. But
and
then,
there it is.
Yep. And then we went, after that, we got done with that one. We went to an after party.
Yeah.
And at the 901
and that
shop,
got a little crazy. I love it.
That was as Latin as it gets, and it was a good fun.
Yeah.
They had music, tacos, tequila, timepieces with Ernst Benz watches there. Cohigo tequila. There wasn't one tea we didn't cover.
I was about to say that there's a
great.
recipe.
We had it all.
Well,
And,
Ken.
Well, Tom Pank had it all. My thanks. I know you were going to say thanks to
Yeah.
Ken, but let me just quickly get in the result. Tom Pank then the winner, Stephen Hammond in second place, and Pedro Torres your top three.